everyone, it's Mia, and in this video I'm going to be going over which I think is better for university, laptop or iPad. So I am really lucky to have both the iPad and a laptop, which I use both for my university studies, but primarily the iPad. So I've got the iPad Pro, it looks like this, Apple Pencil there, and then I have this keyboard case, so you can go like that, and it basically turns into like a laptop style thing. I will link the keyboard case that I have down below, but I would really recommend this case, except I have spilled alcohol on it a few times. I don't know how. So now the keys are a bit sticky, but yeah, it still works really well. And you do have to charge up the case. It has like a little thing there, but I've probably charged it less than 10 times since I've had it, and I've had it for like a year and a half. So it really like stays charged up. And then I have a MacBook Pro. I didn't actually have this in first year. I bought this the summer just gone, primarily for YouTube and editing, because my old laptop just didn't have enough storage. And I would say that I do use my laptop more this year just because I have such a nice one, and I didn't really use my laptop last year because it was quite slow, didn't have enough storage, things like that. So yeah, if you're asking whether you could go a whole year with just an iPad, I think the answer is yes, because I basically did that in first year because I didn't really want to use my laptop, and I literally did everything on here. So I'm just gonna run through the pros and cons. So the main reason I have an iPad, like the main reason I wanted it, is because I learn by writing my notes. And I know this because I did it all the way through GCSEs and A-levels, and that's why I revised. I literally just wrote my notes out again and again and again. So that is why the iPad is so valuable to me. Basically, handwriting everything makes it go in my head. So if you learn like that, I would 100% recommend the iPad. I just retain information so much better when I write it down. If I were to type all my notes in lectures, it would go straight over my head personally. But obviously that's specific to me, so you need to like figure out what your learning style is. Another thing is like writing things down makes things more fun in a way, especially when you first get the iPad and the pencil. Like, it is fun to use it and you like want to doodle and everything, and I think that alone is a reason to get it, because if it's going to make you more motivated to actually do some work and like write all your notes out, then I think that's worth it. I had a few questions on like how it is writing with the pencil. This is so smart, like this little thing, because if you like press it on its side, it will go like thicker, and if you press it just on the point, it will go thinner. If you press harder, then it will go thicker. Yeah, honestly, this is like writing with a pencil. In terms of touching the pen to the iPad, it's not like paper, obviously. I've personally got used to it so much, and I really like the way it writes on the screen. But if you're not sure about it, you can actually get a screen protector for your iPad that makes this feel like writing on paper, which is so cool. But I personally love writing just on the screen. I think it's really easy to use, it feels really natural, and yes, you can rest your hand on the iPad and it won't like mess up the writing, if you know what I mean. So like the iPad knows that that's your hand resting and not you trying to draw. So that is the number one reason, is that I learn by writing and it increases my engagement. The second thing I would say is it is really good for maths-based subjects. So I do an economics degree, which is over 50% maths. I have to write a lot of equations, diagrams, and that is why I love the iPad, because if I were to type out all those equations on like Equation Maker or whatever it is, on Word or on Google Docs, it would take me so long, and it's such a faff. I did actually have to do that for exams because they require you to type it all out, like you can't do handwritten. But in terms of day-to-day, like doing seminars, lectures, when I'm writing down maths working out, I just want to write it as I would write it, you know. So yeah, I would really recommend it if you were doing a maths or science-based subject where you've got equations, diagrams, also subjects that like are kind of science and humanity mixed. For example, economics or social science, where you've got lots of maths, but also you need to have like written notes. I don't just use it for maths, I use it for all my modules, even the ones that are like, for example, development economics, where it's just factual stuff, like I will just write everything. The third benefit for the iPad is that, say if you were wanting this for the Apple Pencil specifically, so like handwriting your notes, it is a million times better than paper, because you can sort your notes into categories, folders, subcategories, everything, and you've got everything in one place, and it's literally just as simple as searching for what you're looking for and it will come up. Whereas if you had binders and binders full of paper notes, for me that is just not the one. Like, I can't be looking through binders and binders of notes, especially at uni. You've got so much more content than in school. Okay, so moving on to some of the benefits for the laptop rather than an iPad is, the main one is specialist programs. So I only have one that I use for uni. It's called eViews, and it's like a statistics data software thing, and I'm pretty sure I cannot get this on iPad. Yeah, so basically if I didn't have a laptop I wouldn't be able to access eViews, which is like quite a small part of my course, to be fair. It's unlikely that you'll have many specialist programs in your degree unless you're doing like computing, in which case obviously you wouldn't get an iPad. I'm trying to think of other ones. Maths, maybe you'd have more. Say if you've got a really bad laptop at the moment and you think, it's not going to get me through uni, I need to buy something, an iPad or a laptop. Say if you love all the benefits of an iPad, you could like use your iPad 99% of the time and then use your laptop that's not very good for that specialist program, because you probably won't be using it that much in your degree. But yeah, obviously it depends on your degree. I'm not entirely sure which ones you would require a laptop for. The next thing, the interface of an iPad is just not the same as a laptop. Like the way that you click, the ergonomics of it, it's completely different. Obviously it shouldn't take too much getting used to, especially if you've got an iPhone. Other Apple products is very, very similar. But the way that you navigate around it, the way that you would type, the way that you obviously don't click, it's a touch screen. That is very, very different. So it depends if you like that. And the main difference is where your files are stored. So obviously on laptop you've just got your Finder or whatever it's called, and then you've got like documents, downloads, all that stuff. There's not really a universal place for that on iPad. For me personally, this isn't an issue at all because I do all of my work on Google Drive, which I would recommend to everyone, by the way, because it automatically saves, it's all backed up, you can access it from any device anywhere in the world, and I think it's unlimited storage. If it's not unlimited, it's definitely very high, because I've had all my stuff stored on Google Drive since I started education, really. If I'm doing any coursework, written work, exams, I always do it on Google Docs or Google Sheets, which is the version of Excel. Literally everything. And then if you need to submit it in a specific format, you can export to PDF, export to Word, export to Excel. Like, you can export it to a specific format if you need to submit it in that way. Usually you'll have to submit it as a PDF, especially if it's written work, but you can easily do that. So say if you've got the Google Drive app on your iPad, you type it all out, export to PDF, and then you can upload that. And I don't know if this is the same for every uni, but I'm pretty sure with Bath, when you go to upload an assignment, you can choose a file from Google Drive specifically, so that's really good. So if you are using iPad, 100% get Google Drive. I've heard so many horror stories of people doing exams and their laptop like dies or something, or crashes, and they've lost all their work. That could never happen to me. Honestly, could never be me. Say if my iPad crashed for some reason, which it never has, I could go on my phone, finish my assignment on Google Drive. Another huge difference is the price. So this iPad Pro, I think it's the newest one, I'm not sure. So the actual iPad, I think is about £900, and then the Apple Pencil is £120. Fucking expensive. Oh, and the keyboard case was about £100 as well, I think. Something else worth mentioning, if you are on a budget, all the iPads are compatible with Apple Pencil. So the iPad mini is the cheapest. Honestly, I think the mini would be just as good. I can't remember the reason I got the big one now. I think it was something to do with the storage, the screen size. Also, it's compatible with like the newest Apple Pencil, whereas the mini and the normal iPad, you can only get the first generation Apple Pencil, but that's kind of good because it's cheaper. If you want to see the difference between all the different iPads and the different Apple Pencils, then I would recommend going on the Apple website, because you can do a comparison side by side of every single device. Don't forget, you can also get everything secondhand if you are on more of a budget. And then obviously laptops vary so much, but if you were getting a MacBook, this was about 1,600 700 I think, but I did get a super high storage one because of all my video files. You can get a MacBook Pro for 1,300. Another quick thing that I love about the iPad is you can import documents into your program. So I use Notability. There's loads of different ones. There's GoodNotes, can't remember the names of the others, but Notability is quite a reputable one. I think it's about £10, but obviously so worth it. On Notability, you can import, say, a worksheet and then just fill out the worksheet as if you are writing, which is so good. I honestly love that feature because I import all of my lecture slides and then I annotate them, and say if I've got a seminar sheet, I will like do the working just on the worksheet. Another feature I love is the voice note thing. Say if the lecturer has explained something and it's quite detailed and I know what they're talking about, but I don't want to write it all down because it's a long explanation. You can record a voice note on your page and you just like tap the icon and then you speak the explanation. I do this all the time, and then I just write a little note next to the point saying voice note here, and then you can play voice note and then it tells you what you're talking about. So to sum up, I would recommend the iPad if you learn by writing things down, because it's just way more efficient than having physical notes and everything's backed up. I have all of my Notability backed up to Google Drive. And then I would recommend the laptop if you think you'll be typing most days, like you'd prefer to type out everything, and if you think there'll be lots of specialist programs in your degree. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I will link everything down below, like more information about the iPad. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it. Obviously I'm not an expert, I'm just talking from my own experience. I'm sure there's more information about both these options online, so definitely do some more research, have a look at other people's YouTube videos. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next video.